Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys predicted to cut record-setting veteran quarterback. Hello, Trey Lance, Cowboys quarterback in waiting. Goodbye. Cooper Rush? Egads. Rush, of course, is a popular member of the Cowboys, a backup for 7 seasons who played so well in relief of Dak Prescott when the Cowboys star was injured in 2022. He was 4-0 to begin his starting stretch, that there was legitimate conversation about whether Dallas should stick with him even when Prescott was healthy. Rush, after all, set a Cowboys record by starting his career at 5-0 as a starter. That fascination has passed, but Rush remains a reliable backup whom the Cowboys can trust. But at age 30, he is not a threat to take the QB1 job from Prescott, and when it comes to the big picture, what the Cowboys want on their QB depth chart is a potential Prescott replacement. Prescott will be a free agent in 2025 if he is not able to come to an extension agreement with the team. A quarterback who can replace Prescott gives the Cowboys some leverage in negotiations with Prescott. Such a quarterback also might well be needed if things fall apart with Prescott. Lance, the number 3 pick in the 2021 draft, could be that guy. Assuming Lance goes into 2024 as the number 2 quarterback, that could leave no place for Rush. In fact, at the Cowboys site Blogging the Boys, the projected 53-man roster notably has Rush having been cut. That's a tough pill to swallow. But eventually, the Cowboys will need to get down to 53 players, and given the team's tinkering on the offensive line, 2 new draftees joining the mix, and the need for depth at running back and wide receiver, keeping 3 quarterbacks is probably a luxury the team can't afford. Thus, BTB has the Cowboys holding onto 3 running backs and a fullback, 9 offensive linemen, 4 tight ends and 5 receivers, with room for only 2 quarterbacks, Prescott and Lance. No Rush. The site speculates that Rush could be traded or bumped to the practice squad. If he does go to the practice squad, though, another team could scoop him up and put him on the 53-man roster. Wrote Jess Haney of Blogging the Boys, speaking of the squad, is that where Cooper Rush lands this year? Maybe Dallas tries to trade Rush for a late-round pick or some other veteran asset for a team needing depth at quarterback. But unless they've been running a total con on us, Trey Lance almost has to be your primary backup. They could still keep Rush as QB3, valuing his presence in the room, but the cost is a valuable roster spot at another position. It would be both a surprise and a disappointment if Rush wound up being one of the casualties of the Cowboys maneuvering on Prescott. While there is an assumption that the team will simply go through the theatrics of a tough negotiation with Prescott before he eventually re-signs, there is a real chance that the team lets him play out his contract and get to free agency. And maybe they should. Prescott had an MVP-caliber season last year, as the Cowboys went 12-5 for the 3rd straight year. But he also flopped in the playoffs yet again, losing at home to the Packers in the first round. The Cowboys could give Prescott a record-breaking quarterback contract this offseason. But what if he again crumbles in the postseason? Then Dallas will be committed to a guy who can't win when it matters most. Perhaps, then, the Cowboys are legitimately letting things play out with Prescott for this year, with Lance as a real option going forward, not as a decoy. If that's the case then, yes, Rush will be missed, but the Cowboys probably do not need him. Cowboys' Micah Parsons admits frustrations over Dallas playoff disappointment. The Dallas Cowboys are revamping their team after a somewhat letdown 2023-24 season. The Cowboys finished the year as the top team in the NFC East but shockingly lost in the first round of the playoffs. Star linebacker Micah Parsons reflected on the disappointed end to the season during Dallas offseason. Parsons admitted that losing 48-32 to the Green Bay Packers in the wild card round was frustrating and demoralizing. He thought his team was due a deep run. "I can't lie. When you put a lot into the game and a lot into what you want to be and how you want to be, Obviously, when the outcome doesn't reach what your expectations are, it's frustrating. And it's demoralizing and not how I wanted my season to end. I did think this was our year. For some reason, we just didn't put it together, Parsons said via LOL Network. Parsons played a pivotal role in keeping Dallas defense competitive throughout the entire year. The 24-year-old amassed 64 total tackles, 14 sacks, ranked 7th in the NFL, and 1 forced fumble. He earned his 3rd Pro Bowl nod for his stout efforts. Nevertheless, Parsons alone could propel the Cowboys to victory in the playoffs. Dallas appeared to have a good chance to advance when they were matched up with the Packers. However, Green Bay made plays when it mattered. The Packers amassed 2 sacks on Dak Prescott, who also happened to throw 2 interceptions. In addition, Caleb Love and Aaron Jones put on commanding air and ground attacks that overwhelmed Dallas. The Cowboys lost by over 2 scores despite having more total yards of offense, first downs, and third down conversions. Moreover, Micah Parsons totaled 1 sack and 1 tackle in the matchup. Despite the subpar showing, the Cowboys have hope for the future. Dallas is returning some key contributors for the 2024-25 season. Most notably, Dak Prescott will continue to the lead team after another solid year of production. Prescott boasted top 3 league rankings in passing yards, touchdowns, and QBR. There is no doubt he is a quarterback capable of leading the team to success. One of the biggest questions going into the season is the status of star wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. Lamb is entering the 5th and final year of his rookie contract. If he does not get an extension, he could refrain from activities going into training camp. Hopefully, he and the Cowboys agree to a deal. Dallas needs Lamb to keep their offense at a high level. The star receiver had a career season in 2023-24. He led the NFL with 135 catches and achieved career highs of 1,749 yards and 12 TDs. Nevertheless, the Cowboys reunited with a familiar star during the free agency period. Dallas and Ezekiel Elliott agreed to a deal after he spent a year with the New England Patriots. Elliott will provide much-needed run support to the team amid Tony Pollard's departure to the Tennessee Titans. All in all, Micah Parsons' Cowboys squad has a great chance to get revenge from 2024 ahead of the 2025 playoffs. Can the squad maintain its status at the top of the NFC East? Cowboys predicted to land playmaking 6'3" QB, there's a chance. The Dallas Cowboys continue to face a decision on Dak Prescott's future, prompting rumors on alternative quarterback options if no new extension is reached. Smart money is on the Cowboys and Prescott to eventually come to an agreement. Yet, if Week 1 hits with no new deal in sight, it might be time for Dallas to consider a backup plan. Prescott has no trade and no franchise tag clauses, which will allow the star to hit free agency in 2025 if he does not sign an extension. Pro Football Network's Ian Cummings put together an early 2025 NFL mock draft using the latest Super Bowl odds to determine the order. The analyst has the Cowboys taking Texas A&M Aggies quarterback Connor Weigman with the number 24 pick. Cummings noted there's a chance that Dallas is looking for a new quarterback in 2025. At the moment, the Cowboys' situation with Dak Prescott has a feel of tepid pessimism to it, Cummings wrote in an April 27, 2024 story titled, 2025 NFL Mock Draft, Carson Beck joins the Giants, Luther Burden 3 and Tedoroa McMillan fight for WR1. It's hard to imagine Prescott playing anywhere else, but the lack of an extension to this point looms large. There's a chance the Cowboys are looking for a new QB in 2025. Though Connor Weigman only played in 4 games in 2023 before an injury cut his season short, the former 5-star recruit showed promise in that span. He has enough functional burst to be a factor off-script, but he also has a live, elastic arm and great touch. There is a lot to unpack here, but let's start with the Cowboys lacking great alternative options if the team moves on from Prescott. Dallas' best pathway to landing their next quarterback is either through the draft or via trade. Prescott would be the rare exception to a star quarterback hitting free agency. Dallas is unlikely to be picking high enough in the 2025 NFL Draft to have a chance to land one of the top quarterback options like Colorado's Shedeur Sanders or Georgia's Carson Beck. This puts them in the speculative category on the next group of quarterbacks that likely have a lot to prove. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Connor Weigman? Leave your opinion in the comments.